Evening everybody, welcome to the long-awaited Mike Shaw Hangout this evening. As you can see, there's just 3 of us in the box at the moment, so welcome Mike.
How do it? Nice to be here.
And we've got Justin in here who's holding up one to his headphones. I'm not going to say to why they've broken. So what I'm going to do, as you can see, there's just 3 people in the room at the moment. It's public in the stream. I'm just going to invite the circle in and then we can get cracking with a few introductions and see how the evening goes. Yep. So if you're standing by your screens now, there will be some notifications if you are in the Mike Shaw live circle. So let's have a look. Just as a bit of fun really, the invite's going out now. So Justin, perhaps you could just check the stream, see if that's out. And if it is out, and there are those lucky people who are going to be able to get in this hangout, so let's just see who's fastest on the buzzers. Any evidence of it in the stream, anybody?
Yep, it's out.
Yep, okay, yeah, good. So, just while we're waiting then, one thing that I just did mention earlier on, for Mike's benefit and for everybody else of course, is that it looks like Mike could be the super engager that he already is in this Google Plus atmosphere, because there are some serious numbers on there. And I'm just going to say one phrase, if you don't mind me saying it, Mike, and that is, I believe you to be a photo poet. Which I'm going to say, I don't know if you know what the meaning of that is, but for my meaning it's something like that you are not only producing the pictures but also the lovely words that go with it, and so that is something else. So there we go, so there's 2 people just arrived. Hey Olaf.
Hi Olaf, how are you?
Hello. Fine, thank you.
And Robin as well. How are you, Robin?
Hey Mike, hey Mike. Hey Justin, who else is in here?
Hi, we got Vivian. Hello Vivian.
Hey Mike, Vivian. Nice to finally meet you.
And you. Right, now I'm going to try and pronounce your second name.
Uh-oh.
Gukwa?
It's Goodswa.
Goodswa.
Yeah. Everybody gets it wrong.
Yeah. Oh, Wes has just come in.
Oh, looks like we've got 2 more slots open.
Right, that filled up very fast.
Just while we're getting the housekeeping done, I think that's Nicole. Nicole, have you got any headphones by any chance?
Yes I do.
Brilliant, that's great.
Let me get them.
Okay.
I am thinking of quite a bit of echo.
Yeah, they will. I think the key game here is just to hear. Yeah, I'll tell you what, I'm going to mute. Okay, let's give her a chance to get those in. So get 2 more slots open. There's another re-entry, that's number 9.
I do not have any microphone though.
Do you mind just hold it? I'll just mute you just for a second. There we go. Oh,
Yeah,
fantastic.
the echo stopped now.
Yeah, absolutely, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Do you want to get started then, Mike, and just...
What I'll do is I'll just do a quick introduction as to who I am. My name's Mike Shaw. I come from the northwest of England, a small town called Widnes in Cheshire, UK. Took up photography in 2006 and just completely and utterly fell in love with it. What you see is results of me pressing buttons, banging things, throwing things against the wall, until eventually I got something right. I've never been one for instruction, never have been, never will be. So for me it's a case of press it, if it works well. The response on G Plus for me has been phenomenal. It's been a completely different world, didn't expect it. To be honest, I'm a bit overwhelmed by this at the moment. I didn't expect the response to this Hangout as well, but I'm absolutely thrilled. It's going to be a relaxed thing. It's not going to be anything, you know, too intense and too in everybody's face. It's a couple of little things I'd like to talk about, which I put out before, which was in regards to passion over technical ability, which is something I like to talk about a bit later on. Questions and answers. And there's a couple of people there that I want to throw some questions out to as well. So
Yeah, definitely.
hopefully that's how the Hangout will progress.
Can I just set the scene, Mike? Can I ask you, when did you first actively get on and use G+? Was it in the summer?
Yeah, it was the summer. I was a beta user. A guy called John DeBoard, who's a photographer on there, fantastic work, actually invited me on. I ignored it for about a month until he started kicking my butts. And he said, go on there and try it. So I went on there and I just fell in love with the light box. For the actual display photography, the light box was fantastic. Beats everything out there, hands down, as far as I was concerned. And just started plodding along on it. The second phase is the suggested users list. I was put onto that, and since then it just went up. And I've just lost track of it, to be honest with you. So I don't even look at the numbers anymore. I just enjoy my time on there. I get to meet great people. The one thing I actually love about Google Plus is the level of interaction and how much we can learn from each other. Because I learn something new every time I come onto Google Plus. And there's so many people out there so willing to share what they've done or how they've done it or why they did this and not that. It's fantastic. I love the place. I really do.
Brilliant. Can I just ask a couple of things from everybody in the room? Can everybody make sure they've got the chat box open? And then if we can just get an order to maybe some questions running through there first, then we can take it as relaxed as we can, if that's all right. Who wants to ask Mike a question? I want to take a back seat while I just check the stream and also the valuable comments coming in off of it.
Well, I'm curious about when Mike started. I want to, I've read most of your posts, Mike, I think. But I want to know when you started the Leaf series and when you started the People I've Met series and things like that. I'm just ramble.
Yeah.
You don't do that.
I didn't actually pick a camera up until the back end of 2006. And I've still got my first camera, which is a bridge camera, which is a Fujifilm Fine Pics. And it was a case just to see, because I can paint, I can sculpt, but I've got zero patience whatsoever. So I had so many pieces of work that were all half finished, bits of this and bits of that, and I was getting frustrated more than anything. So I thought, I'll try photography. So I bought the bridge camera, and I just fell in love with it. Hands over heels, I fell in love with it. And it was a case of just developing it and just learning things and taking the camera out every day, and then I upgraded my equipment, and and since then it's just escalated. The Leaf series was something I actually did by chance. I think it was about 2 years ago I started that, maybe a bit more. I was walking into Liverpool to do some urban street shots, and it was autumn at the time. And I happened to look down, there's all these leaves everywhere, and I thought, I just picked one up. I thought I could use that maybe in a shot somewhere. So here I was walking around Liverpool with a leaf in my hand, and people just looking at me like I'm a bit mad. And then I started putting the leaf on the floor, and I used a very wide angle lens, and then it was a case of either I lie on the floor, and it was raining, or I get my camera as close to the floor as I can and shoot up, and that's what I did. And the very first one is an image called Catch a Falling Star, because I set it all up where the leaf was still in colour and everything else was in muted colours. And it looked like a star because it was, it's not a maple leaf, I can't remember what they call it, it's an acer leaf I think it's called in this country. And it had a star shape to it, and I fell in love with it. And so the Leaf series for me is a way of tracking time and progress of what I'm doing from the first one to the last one, and to see if I'm improving and what other techniques I can actually put into place. And I just love it. I love the Leaf series. I haven't done anything for a bit yet. I think last time it was out in the snow. So that's something I need to go back to, I think. But the thing about a project like that, which is fantastic for me, is something you can leave it for a while and then go back to it and then come away from it and then go back to it. There's no time scale on anything like that. The people I met was recent. I think the last 12 months to 18 months is when I've really got involved in doing that. And it's simply because I'm so sick and tired of seeing these people out and about that I completely ignored. It's the main reason more than anything. So I started talking to people. And I think the very first one, or the first in-depth one, was a guy called Alan in Manchester. He was playing a flute. And we got off the train, my wife, the idea was going to go shopping. and I saw him, and I sat down with him. I was actually sat on the pavement with him, talking to him, and he got all these books out from Japan and China, and he started producing all these photographs that he had taken when he was a youngster over there. And I think it was about a good 40 minutes. And I looked up, my wife's just stood there looking at me and thinking, I'm going to have to go. Before I went, I asked for his photograph. I took his photograph. And since then, that's just spiraled, you know. I go out, hopefully on such a regular basis, just looking for people's photographs. But my passion is in regards to the homeless people. They're the people that I really focus on because they don't have a voice in this day and age. You know? And like everybody says to me, you're 3 paychecks away from them. And we are. You know, people have to realise that. They've got to stop not looking at them. But I enjoy them when I do my landscapes. But my landscapes have received more than my portraits there. But I still do them.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's brilliant. Vivian, is that next up?
I guess my question is just what inspires you the most? Like, what inspires you to go out and shoot whenever you go out and shoot?
Talk about a toughie. It depends on what I'm going to go out and shoot more than anything. If it's landscapes, then you know the first thing you do is obviously yourself. Urbanscapes, landscapes, both look the same thing. You draw your curtain back and you look up. How much light have I got? You know what I mean? And can I do something with it? Street shots. I used to do a lot of street shots, but I backed off from them, and I seem to have got into this routine of doing landscapes and people portraits, street portraits. One of the people that really inspired me when I was younger was a guy called John Beacon, who was, in fact, a street photographer. And if you can get hold of some of his works, it's absolutely superb. And he was just so subtle in what he did and how he did things. And you've really got to look and concentrate on his work. And I just loved what he did. And I tried to mimic him and I couldn't. I gave up. I mean, I can't do that. He's just so clever in what he does. So, but what inspires me every day to set the camera out, I just enjoy it. I just love doing it. You know, I never stop looking. You know, there's got to be something. There has to be something I can photograph. There's the odd day you come home and you've photographed absolutely nothing. And we've all had them days. Camera goes down and you think nothing more of it. There's days you go out and you've taken 10 shots and every one of them is just spot on and perfect. And I'm constantly looking for that kick of doing that more than anything else. Oh, what's that? That's my son. So it's for me it's the fun side of things, you know. It's the enjoyment of doing it, and you've got to enjoy doing it. If you don't enjoy doing it, don't do it. It's never going to work for you, you know. And I do. I love it.
Was it Wes was going to go next? Is that right?
Hello, Wes.
Hey, Mike. Nice to finally see you on a hangout.
Yeah. Tell I'm nervous or what? I've got a bottle of beer in. I'll try not to drink it live, but it will happen a few times, I'm afraid.
I got a bottle of sweets in. Look.
Sweets.
I'm trying to get some water then.
Yeah, I'm just drinking some water, but yeah, I guess my question for you is, you know, I admire all your work, your portraits, your street, your landscapes, but I think the landscapes speak to me. Well, actually, they all speak to me a lot, but the landscapes is something that I really enjoy, you know, personally. So when I look at your landscape work, there's a certain thing about it that just draws me into it. A lot of times you have this lighting or, you know, this this real unique perspective that kind of pulls you through. And I know you use HDR for your work, so I'm kind of curious, like, how you integrate HDRs like into your shots. Are they actual multiple bracket shots, or are you using single RAWs?
No, single RAWs. It tends to always be single RAWs. Every now and again, if I'm in a location where I think I can get more out of a bracketed shot, I will go down the route of bracketed shots. But the majority of the time, I think you get just as good results using a single RAW. HDR for me, and this, I'm not going to mention names, but there's some prominent photographers that use HDR, and they use it as the end game to the end result. And you shouldn't. It's only part of your process. For me, HDR would allow you to actually develop details within a photograph that you wouldn't normally see because of whatever exposure. But it's only there as part of the process, not to be all and the end all. I'll HDR a photograph, then I'll take it through CS5, which I'm currently running now, Lightroom 3, I haven't got Lightroom 4, and then back through CS5. My workflow is scattered. It's all over the place. If you were to sit next to me and follow my workflow, you wondered what I was doing. But it's just a workflow I've got, and it meanders. I don't use presets. I hate presets because if you develop and use a preset, you're doomed to have your photographs look the same all the time. So you treat each photograph on its own merits and just love it as it goes through, and just HDR is only part of it. You know, don't fall into the trap of you made a picture look like a painting. You know, we can all do that through photomatics. It's easy. It's developing the rest of it that allows you to put more depth into an image, that allows you almost to give it a 3D effect sometimes as well. You know, you've got to tinker with it. It speaks of Robin's a painter, and her work's absolutely fantastic. I've got no doubt to look at Robin's work, and she must come back to them time and time and time again, and add a bit here, and add a bit there, and add a bit here, and then walk away from it. If you treat your editing the same way, that's when you'll start to develop these little bits of depth and just things that will draw your eye in. So HDR, only part of the process, not the be all and the end all.
Brilliant. I think Stephen had like an awesome question which was in the chat box there.
Yeah, hi Mike, nice to meet you. Don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, we can.
Hi, Steve.
Yeah, your portraits, the homeless people, have you thought about using them for charities or organisations? I mean, they're so powerful. So, I mean, you should really think about, I mean, unless they haven't contacted you already, I'm surprised they haven't.
One of the things is it's one of my biggest downfalls is I don't have my own website.
Yeah.
I keep trying to develop one, not doing a very good job of it, so I'm going to farm it out to somebody who can do a better job than me. So once I do get a website up and running, then I've got a point of contact for people.
Yeah.
I could use Google+, but most people say you shouldn't use a social site as a point of contact. There are certain charities that I do want to work with, homeless charities. There's one in England called Soldiers Off the Streets, where we have soldiers are coming back from conflict and or whatever, and then the homeless. You know, that shouldn't be happening.
Yeah.
So I've got some contact details for them, so I'm hopefully going to be speaking to them soon. Obviously there's a shelter, and there's a few other ones as well that I wanted to speak to. One of the things I'd like to do as well is look at some of the comparisons that we have in this country that we don't see anymore, you know what I mean, and towards other countries as well. You know, because some of these people, they're living like third world people. You know?
I mean, it's frightening, isn't it, really, how easy it is, like you say, how easy it is to get to become like that.
Yeah. 3 paychecks away. Yeah. I keep saying that to myself. Whenever I speak to these people, that's what I say to myself all the time. 3 paychecks away, that's all you are, you know, so.
Can I just make it sounds like a plug, but it isn't, Mike. I can show you how to turn that Blogger site of yours into an awesome website. It's one of the things I can do, and seamlessly progress that with Google+, as the photos are there already. Yeah.
Any help is more than accepted. The one thing I say is technically wise, I'm not very adept. Web-wise, that kind of thing. I can use Google+, I can use photo editing, I can do that kind of thing. Ask me to build a website, and ask me to look at code, and I'm like, oh, no, go away, I'm not interested. I just got to go blind.
I think I've run out of text questions in the box at the minute, so if anybody wants to jump in with something.
Yeah, if I may, my question sort of relates to the previous one. It's to do with your black and white portraits, Mike, and some of the other stuff. The first one that I ever saw that really made me notice what was going on, it sort of jumped out from everything else on on the Google Plus screen. It was your panther.
Oh yeah.
And that shot I thought was incredible, especially when I saw the original and what you'd done to it. And so with your portraits and with some of the animal shots and things, what was your idea behind the process to do them that way, to just sort of black out all the background and bring them forward?
More than anything for me, I think it was actually to focus people on the actual face itself. Because sometimes when you've got a lot of fight going fight.
This is real life, isn't it? Fantastic.
Yeah, this was actually this is life. It was to focus people's attention on the actual face itself. Every now and again, I will leave the background environment in because it adds to the actual image itself. The majority of the time, I like to take it out because then you're only looking at one thing, which is the actual face of the person or the makeup of the person. Yeah. So I enjoyed that. I like it. And Alan Shapiro does the same thing. And I go look at Alan Shapiro's photographs and I think he's better than me. But he is. His work's fantastic, Alan Shapiro's work. And his portraits really stand out for me. You know. And it was strange because I was doing this before Google+. I came onto Google+ and I saw Alan's work and I was like, hang on, what's going on here? And it was a case of we realised we were both doing the same kind of thing. I don't think we're the first ones to do it, I don't think we'll be the last. But it's a focal point more than anything. It's to draw the attention to the place where you want it.
Cool. Brilliant, thanks for that.
I'm just replying, Mike, on the stream to Lotus Carroll, who can't see the live stream, so I better reply to it. I think that's a dead cert. I should do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in trouble by the sounds of it.
Yeah, she's shouting there.
Any other questions there? So I'm just going to reply to that while...
Yes, please. Could I ask a question, please?
Yeah, certainly can.
Hey, Mike. Hi. It's good to see you online, actually.
Yeah, it's good to see you as well, mate.
Thanks. Well, what has been nagging on my mind is that you're dealing with two natures of photographing. One is the landscape, when you are all alone with the nature, completely alone, quiet, peaceful. And next, you are on the street, actually on the grid of the street, taking picture of people, nameless people, and whose pictures are really haunting us. I would say on my personal level, I mean, they're really haunting, really deep setting pictures. Disturbing in one way, because as you say, there are people which are forgotten or ignored. How do you handle this thing? I mean, how do you go in between these two genres?
One's my yin, the other one's my yang, so to speak. The landscape photography allows me just to go off, just be by myself, just do what I need to do. I relax, I'm chilled. My headphones go in, I listen to music, and it's a case of, you know, I can take the photograph, you know. It's a slow process, it's a gentle process. It's a nice process, you know. Certainly if you're waiting for a sunrise, you know, just sitting there and you just wait for the sun to come up, and when it just slowly drifts up, you're at peace with the world. And then the opposite side to that, the flip side, is when you go to the urban shots and you go in to take pictures of people that are troubled, who are struggling in life, who will struggle in life, you know. And you feel bad because you struggle in regards to what is it you can do to help, and sometimes you can't do anything. There's little you can do. You try to help as much as you possibly can, but it's not necessarily my fault they're in that position. But I want to help, but I'm not sure how. So one counteracts the other, so to speak. You know what I mean? You'll see me sometimes going through a phase of doing a lot of landscapes, and then a phase of doing a lot of portraits, and that's where you balance yourself out. It's the only way you can do it, really. At one point, I actually really thought about dropping the landscapes and just concentrating on the actual portraits, because I love them. If someone asked me if I could only have one, which one would you take? It would be the street portraits. I would take them over the landscapes. And I seriously considered about doing it. It was only a bit later on you sit and think, well, no, I need to do the landscapes, because they're my peaceful time, they're my relaxed time, you know, they're my brain shut down just for a little bit of time, so to speak. I'm not overly thinking stuff.
Thanks. Thanks a lot.
Justin had some good questions coming in from, I think, people in the On the page?
Yeah, we've got. Actually, let's go back to the beginning. James Lawson Smith said he'd like to know if you were self-taught or if you'd taken any course, and also if you got any suggestions or tips for new photographers.
Completely and utterly self-taught. Picked the camera up and just played with it. It was the case. I'm no good at instructions. You give me an instruction book, I'll read bits of it, I'll put it away, and that's effectively what I've done with everything. You know what I mean? I buy a computer, I look at the instruction book, and I've had enough, and I'll just fudge my way through it, so to speak. I'm happy in regards to I get advice from certain people. There's a great photographer called Michael Helms, who's a fine art nude photographer, who also does portrait photography as well. And I speak to him a lot, and I get a lot of advice from him. And I always noticed that when he did his portraits, they were blissfully sharp and they were blissfully fantastic. So it was a case of I used to drill into his brain a little bit. Oh, how do you do this and how do you do that? And then I actually found out some of it was down to kit, and that was the Canon f2.8 lens. So on his recommendation, I spent a lot of money on the f2.8 lens, but I have to say it's an investment that's served me well. I've learned to use the lens, and most of the street portraits you see now have been done with that. But on the flip side, I have to just say that before people go off and say, oh, I'm going to spend all this money on a lens, I have actually had some exceedingly good street portraits done on a 50mm prime. It cost me £83 from Canon as well. So, you know, it's how you balance things out. But yeah, it's press the buttons, keep pressing.
Okay.
You know,
We've got another question that will follow
Can
on
I just
from
jump
that,
in? Sorry,
yeah.
Justin.
No,
Mike, sure. Could I ask a special question that you reshare your own Hangout in your own stream?
oh, that would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, because there's a few people on the bottom saying, where is it then? Where is it? Like, Mike, sure I know. Mike Downs, who's that guy? I don't know who he is.
Is it just a link at the top, is it? Yeah.
It should be the whole. If you go down and where it says public on the top right-hand side of the actual Hangout box, and that's the one that you can actually share.
Slight oversight there.
Yeah, on the public word, let me have a look.
It's the one that says public as opposed to limited locked. Then that will appear in your stream.
Well, I can't see it.
Right. Okay.
Under settings.
It's on my profile.
What is it? I've got to see then.
Yeah. So if you look at my profile, and it will say Meet Mike Shaw Live now, and then there'll be a share button underneath it. Not the one with the big blue join button. I think just while Mike's doing that, I think for me as an ex-teacher, from hearing Mike speak, to say that he uses about a gazillion different editing programs in no particular order, which sounds like a logistical nightmare to actually go and tell someone else how he does it, which is, or is there, is a fantastic secret trick, isn't it, to say?
It's all smoke and mirrors. Everything is, isn't it?
Yeah. Who's next up? Yeah, sorry, Mike, to interrupt with that one. Are you okay? Is it shared?
Yeah, I've just got online now. Sorry about that.
Yeah, sorry. Who hasn't asked a question yet or entered into the discussion? I'm just looking through. Billy, you got anything?
Not really. I just wanted to join in.
Hello, Billy. How you doing, mate?
I'm good.
Nice to see you.
Do you know Billy, Mike?
Yeah, we had a few discussions online a few times. I think the last one was on the suggested user list, wasn't it?
I think that might have been the last time we were discussing on a thread.
Yeah. It was a good debate, I think.
Have you always been using digital, Mike?
Yeah, obviously 2006. I have actually got some film cameras, which I've got in the glass cabinet. They look very pretty.
Yeah.
But I do keep saying at some point I'm going to get some film, I'm going to give it a go, and I'm going to try it. But I don't think the darkroom will go down well with me and my patient level. I think there'll be a lot of chemicals getting thrown out the windows and things like that.
You just give it to lab, it's easy.
Yeah, that's the other way to do it, I suppose. But yeah, I would like to actually try it just to see if I can do it.
It'll be interesting. You can get such cheap medium format cameras now. They're so cheap now.
Yeah.
Hasselblad like £500 on eBay. Ridiculous.
Can I just ask for the people in the room who has experienced you know, old school paper and chemicals and darkrooms and red lights?
Yeah.
Who's done that? Yeah. I mean, it's Mike, you're missing something huge here. So says me to Mike.
You haven't lived until you dropped your roll of film and been scrambling around on your hands and knees in a dark room trying to find it.
Yeah. And once you get that smell of fixer like up your nose, then you're living in that third way. It's just like, wow, you know. Yeah, so
more fun.
Yeah, I have to admit though, I mean, digital is so easy nowadays. I mean, it's so convenient, isn't it? You know what I mean? Take the picture, don't delete, you know, it's hard to go into film photography for the love of it if you've never done it, if you've only done digital. So that's the hard bit. So it's almost like taking a step backwards, even though I know it's not. It's part of the creative medium that we've got. But for me, I'll give it a go one day. And it's always one day.
Yeah.
I think we had one in the stream, didn't we, which said, does Mike always carry a camera, like, wherever he goes? Is that a habit you get into?
If I can, yeah. It's because I work shifts. I do days and I do nights, and my shift finishes at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. I usually try and take the camera to work with me, and I leave it tucked up away somewhere. And then I'll obviously drive home in the morning. Then you get fantastic light. So I'll stop off here, there, and everywhere. And a lot of my sunrises are actually from driving home from work. But if I go out with my wife, she wants to do a bit of shopping or whatever, the camera will come with me if I can help it. But with this lens, it's not so conspicuous anymore, whereas I used to be able to sneak up and down the street with it. Now I look like a sniper, so it's not so easy to do. Can I throw some questions out?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, this one's to Vivian. Hello, Vivian.
Oh, okay.
Most of your shots running out of New York, yeah?
Oh yeah, they're all New York City. I don't have the money to go anywhere else.
Yeah.
So I just photograph what's around me.
What kind of range do you go though? Because to me, New York is a very big city. I mean, we think London and Liverpool are big, but you could probably fit that in a block in New York. So what's your range of what you photograph? Is it a large range?
It's a pretty large range. A lot of what I've posted to Google Plus has been Manhattan.
Yeah.
But I do get out to the other boroughs of New York City, and I do post photos from there. And you know, each borough kind of has its own flavor, and it's a very large amount of space.
Yeah.
I agree.
Do you do many portraits though, street portraits?
You know, I haven't, and it's actually really funny. It wasn't until recently that I started actually really getting into photographing people at events, like parades or music events. So I'm kind of having this itch to do some portraits.
Yeah.
And I have to say that you're very inspiring to me in that way. I find your portraits very haunting and just very, very powerful, you know. Kind of like you have to step away a little after doing it. It feels so real. Like yours and Alan's just completely destroy me.
I do love Alan's work. I'd love to. I mean, one of my things is always trying to get over to New York or trying to go over there simply for the culture you've got in America, which is completely different to ours. Even though everybody says, you know, we're cousins over the pond, I think we're completely different cultures. Because the images I see Alan take, I would love to be able to get across it and try some of that. But I'd love to see you do some as well. I really want to see you. I'd like to get you into some portraits as well.
That's encouraging, and it kind of it's pumping me up to kind of go out there and try it. But I think you would have a field day in New York.
Yeah.
Just because we do have some really amazing landscapes even in the city. Plus, there's just such an amazing array of opportunities for portraiture. So, come.
Yeah, one day.
Do you know, Mike? Do you know Boris Gorelick?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say the only issue with New York is that Boris is there. That's the only problem with it, isn't it? Me and Boris very good friends, so it's just a joke there. So go on a day that he's out. No, look, Boris is a lovely guy. He's a brilliant guy.
No, Boris's answer to that is, I don't care.
Yeah, which is a trademark, isn't it?
I have to say as well, I mean, I know he's been very quiet, but we've got Olaf here as well. Hello, Olaf. I love Olaf's landscapes. I don't know if you've had a chance to go and look.
Thank you very much.
Work.
But I have a question for you.
Oh, go on then, Olaf.
How much time do you spend with the homeless people? And the camera helps you to get in touch with them, or keeps them on distance?
No, it actually helps me get in touch with them because they see the camera, and sometimes it's a way of they can get some money, because sometimes they'll approach you because you've got the camera, so they're looking to say, well, you can take a picture of me in return for. A lot of the time it depends on the person I'm speaking to themselves. I mean, like Alan in Manchester, I didn't realise I'd sat there for over 40 minutes, just gabbing away, looking at his books and everything. It's only when my wife told me, you know, how long he was sat there for. Some of them are just keen just to get the photograph and, you know, and all this, they're not that bothered about this, that and the other. You've got to be aware, or try and, to a point, assume their circumstances. I'm aware of giving money to people, I think, might, excuse me, Alice, go on to bed, please. Go on. I'm aware of people that might use drugs and alcohol, and if I give them money for that, that's what's going to happen. I'm not going to make matters worse for them, so I'll try and, if there's somewhere close by I can get some food or something like that, I'll try and do it that way. I've taken people to shelters before now to pay for the bed for the night. You know, it's hard not to be touched. You know, you can't not talk to these people and not be touched by them, you know, what they're going through. I'm just thankful I've got a nice house, I'm married, I've got kids, I've got a nice car. You know, so me spending 10, 15, 20 minutes with a homeless person, just talking to them, a bit of human contact is nothing. You know, it's nothing in the scale of things. So I try and spend as much time as I possibly can, but it depends on the person. But what you've got to realise as well, a lot of the pictures you'll see in that gallery, not all homeless. You know, they're people from all different aspects of life. You know, they're all. It's my son. He's trying to get on the web. Yeah. Tell you what, look, come here, Alice.
You did a great job.
Say hello.
Hi.
Yeah, this is Alice. You're going to bed, aren't you?
Yeah. Mike, get him a camera.
Yeah, no. Go on, off you go. Oh. So, yeah,
Mike, can I just ask with your son, does your son think you're any good at photography?
My son thinks he's famous because of his photography. And if you actually look on the gallery, there's actually quite a few of his. I actually use him. He's my best model I've got.
Oh, okay.
He is,
but
yeah.
Does he think that you're any good at it, you know, apart from photographing him?
He's probably like one of them, whatever. You know what I mean? He's getting to that age, I think.
Gotcha.
What was I saying before? Yeah, people I've met at gallery are not all homeless. They're not all, you know, destitute, whatever. They're just some people that have character to the place. And they tend to be older people, because older people have that character. You know what I mean? It's what you like to see, you know what I mean? A bit of life that's been lived, you know, so that's what I tend to bring for. There's been the odd younger person, but there's been something that stood out, you know.
Mike, you did say that you wanted a bit of a laugh, didn't you? So I've got 2 comments on your own stream here. Have you read them? One of them from Kerry Murphy says, I expected you to have a deep voice. There's another one. And there's Lukas Staniec says, why is he wearing a hat indoors? Anyone? Anyone? Oh, he said his hat off. There you go, Lucas.
I tend to spend something like 99% of my life in a hat. I always have done. I've got a famous hat somewhere.
I was going to suggest about ask that. I've got a Cossack downstairs as well. I should have Cossack night.
The dead ferret hat, as it's called.
Yeah, we got so used to that that image of you that I was, every time, you know, I just imagined you with sort of like hair all the way round that colour. I was wondering if it was part of the hat or not.
No, no. I started losing my hair, I think, about 15, 16 years ago. It was just as easy just to keep going every time I shaved. You know what I mean? It's done with, you know. Yeah,
But noisy when it rains, huh?
Well, I've got it. Olaf will tell you. It's just that when we get to like this, you've got no hair and it's cold out there, you stick a hat on.
It is. It is
Yeah.
really cold. But you can try this.
Yeah, I do that as well.
Looks younger too.
Yeah. Any more questions from anyone?
Yeah, I have a question.
Go.
Mike, what is your approach for a good landscape? How long do you stay outside? Do you sleep outside? And yeah.
I've never done a sleep outside yet. I fell asleep outside once by accident. There's a story that's actually in a book by a man called John Paul Thornton. And it was at a point where I was at my lowest ebb in regards to photography, because you know we all go through these phases where you can't quite get things to work, and I'd almost given up, and I just got the Canon 400D, so I just upgraded a little bit. And I went out one day and I went to take a landscape. And I said, right, I'll sit and wait for the sun to come up. So I sat there and waited for the sun to come up, fell asleep. But luckily enough, I woke up just in time. But I'd been out for about an hour and a half. And I went, but I'm about to walk away. And I just happened to look down, there's a bunch of daisies. And behind them, the sun was coming up, so I thought, well, I'm covered in mud anyway. So I got on the ground, took the picture. And it became quite a good seller for me. It sold a lot. But it taught me in regards to having a little bit more patience in regards to landscapes. And how much time I spend actually setting up, getting them, how much time I spend actually being out and about doing them. So it's a good few hours. You know, I mean, I'm off on a day on my own, up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, you're out before the sun's coming up, you've got a location that you know of, you've set up and you stop doing for the sun to come up. I've got no doubt you've done yourself so many times, Olive. I mean, how much time do you spend?
Oh, lots of time.
Yeah.
Lots of time.
Yeah.
I stay most of the time outside. I travel with a van, and
Yeah.
I park the van in the near of the place where I would shoot, and wait for the right light.
Yeah.
And during the time, I'm working, writing, and also chilling.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
And
nice
it's very
just to chill out, yeah.
Yeah, it's also very important to breathe what's outside.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Very good.
nice like you do the same as what I do. It's a bit like a downtime. It's a bit like a relaxed time. You know what I mean? And even if you don't come away with a good photograph, it's nice just to spend that time on your own, just going, you know?
Yeah.
I enjoy it. Yeah, it's good fun. Yeah.
It's very important for a vision. It's very important.
It is, and it's how much you actually prep though beforehand in regards to checking the weather, checking the sunrises, checking your direction of the sun and all that kind of stuff.
I'm very well prepared, and sure, for sure, if I have the possibility to check the weather, I will do so.
Yeah, yeah, because I tend to skip that sometimes. I do come a cropper every now and again.
I'll just put a note in the window that if some people, I know that there was about 35 people looking to get in here, and if some people wouldn't mind jumping in a minute to do a rotation, that'd be brilliant.
Yeah, that's okay. Okay now. Very nice talking to you all. Thanks a lot.
And yourself. Thanks
Good work, mate. Cheers.
See you later.
See you.
Bye.
I'm going to step out, Mike. Thank you so much.
Bye, Robin. Nice to meet you.
Very, very nice to meet you.
Could I ask a question, actually, before I go and step out for somebody else?
Certainly can.
So my question is, you know, you share quite a bit of yourself online, and I think, you know, it's kind of one of the reasons why I feel that you're such an engaging person to follow. Just because I feel like a lot of people who do follow your work feel like they know you. To some extent, you know, however much you share. Do you ever kind of feel like that, I don't know, a certain kind of vulnerability because of how much you've actually shared with everybody on Google+?
It's something, it's the way I've always been, I think. It's a case of, to get something back from somebody, you've got to give something. You know what I mean? And it's a give and take kind of thing. You know what I mean? So you need to put things out. You need to talk to people like yourself, and the more you're willing to divulge about yourself and the way you are, and the issues I had earlier on this year, so on and so forth, it does make people feel that they are closer to you. And that's not such a bad thing. I actually don't mind that. I enjoy that more than anything.
My cat decided he wants to be in the hangout.
Why not? What are you doing? But yeah, it's you can leave yourself open. I do have the odd occasional problem with trolls, but I think the way Google has set things up nowadays, it's so easy to deal with. It's just like one button and they're gone, you know. And sometimes you've got to go in and do a bit of cleaning up. But you know, you'll always get that in life. You'll always get the people who don't like you, don't like what you do, for whatever reason. Leave them to it. It's not worth wasting your time and energy on. So, yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you. I'm going to drop out for somebody else. It was great getting to talk to you.
And you as well. Bye-bye, Vivian. And your cat.
See you, Vivian.
Bye-bye.
Hey Andy, how are you doing?
Not too bad, thanks, mate.
Hello Andy, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, Mike. I've been struggling to keep up on the live hangout because my bandwidth isn't good enough to watch it live. I have to be in a hangout to watch it.
Not a problem.
It's the same with me.
Good excuse, Andy.
You've seen my posts about my bandwidth, man.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to jump with some questions, it's been, I've got to sort the dog out. Cats and dogs now. Come on.
Yeah. Mike, there was another one of your shots that fascinated me. Cloud Factory.
Oh yeah, Fiddler's Ferry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looked incredible, that shot. And it does, well, it says exactly what it does on the tin. It is a cloud factory looking at that shot. Brilliant.
Yeah.
It was just time and place and getting it right?
Yeah, exactly. You hit it right on the nail there. It was a case of very still day, cloudless sky, everything just going straight up from the steam stacks. Set it up on the banks of the river and he just took the shot.
Fantastic.
That's how it came out. Yeah.
It did it all for you?
Yeah, basically, yeah. The name Cloud Factory actually comes from the sun. That's what he called it. It's a cloud factory. So that's what he called it, the Cloud Factory. Yeah, but I often wonder about how long it's going to last, though, because it should have been decommissioned something like 10 years ago. We keep bringing it online all the time, so I can't afford to get rid.
How do you go about titling your pictures? It's a problem that I've always got. I'll be out with the camera and I'll get these images and I'll process them and think that looks great, and then I go to upload them and I'm suddenly, oh, hang on a minute, I've got to call it something.
Yeah, it is. I think that's something we all struggle with. There's times I'll just sit there like this, staring at the image for a good hour or so thinking, I can't think of anything. I've got a friend who's a fantastic photographer, but it's just the title sequence is number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. The thing about a title is it draws people in. You know what I mean? It's part of your image, so to speak. You know what I mean? So you've got to spend time doing it. You've got to look at it. You've got to be aware of it. So it's an hard one. Trying to pick a name can be very hard. Sometimes it comes easy, but the majority of the time it doesn't come that easy at all.
But you go a little bit further on though, Mike, from just a title to like a whole, like a poem and words, and how much energy goes into that comparison to say, the photo?
As daft as it sounds, that's the easiest bit.
Right.
For me, there's times where I can't, and I'll just talk about where the photograph was taken and stuff like that because nothing's coming out. But there's other times where I'll just do the picture and it'll just go, it just seems to flow out and it just fits with the image at the time. But basically, the image comes first. It always does. The image comes first, and then the bits and bobs later on, such as the talking about the image or the what people call the poetry. It's more prose, I think, than anything else. I just enjoy doing that. I think it adds another depth to the image, so to speak.
I think especially in Britain you can use the names of the places.
Yeah, we have some.
They're very poetic, yes.
Yeah, they are. We have some fantastic little places around there.
When I was in Cornwall and in Devon, there were so many great names of places you can use.
Tynmouth.
Tynmouth. Yeah, Duckpool.
Yeah, but there's just down the road from where I live, there's a place called Great Budworth and Little Budworth. You know what I mean?
Isn't it great?
Yeah, it's fantastic. You know.
Go to Germany. We have bad names for bad places. No, don't go.
I would like to ask a few questions, if it's possible.
No problem.
I would like to ask you, how did you start in the photography world? Like, were you always interested in it, or?
No, like I was saying before, I've been good at art most of my life, and I had a very good art teacher in school. He actually encouraged me to take up art, and I actually enjoyed doing it. My biggest problem is I don't have the patience for art to actually finish anything, to actually, you know, I had so many half-finished canvases and bits of sculpture dotted all over the place, and just cluttering the house up. So I actually thought, pick a camera up, end of 2006, let's see what I can do. And I just fell in love with it. And because it's digital photography nowadays, it's so quick to be able to turn an image around. Well, it's not as quick as people think. Certainly when you get into the post-editing side of thing and everything else that goes with it. But for me, I could see results quite fast. So I'm a very late starter to photography, end of 2006, and basically just press everything and eventually it'll start to work. And that's how I got about doing it.
And does everybody know I know you've documented it anyway, just to repeat for the viewers, what is your equipment?
Pardon?
Sorry, Tanya, you go. I'm here all day.
First, I want to say bye-bye. I will free a slot for others outside.
Okay, nice to meet you, Olaf. Really
nice to meet you, too.
Bye. You all.
Nice to meet you.
Bye.
Bye, Olaf.
Mike, you started then quite late in the photograph world.
Yeah.
Well, I have been trying, but the thing is, I think photograph is a wonderful way to capture what you see and the way you see it.
Yeah, I was going to say you need to add that. You just have the right bit on. It's not just what you see; it's the way you see it as well. That's what makes the difference. A lot of people will take a picture of what they simply see through a viewfinder. What you've got to then focus on is what do you see up here, you know, within your mind's eye. I can show you some of my photographs that I've taken an image of, knowing that when I finish with it, it's not going to look like that, because I want to show people what I feel as well as what I see when I take a picture, and I'll do that through post-editing. I admit I'm probably a better post-editor than I am a photographer. But photography, the camera is just a tool. It's like an artist with a paintbrush. To me, that's how I see the camera. It's like a paintbrush. So you're right in what you were saying in regards to it's not what you see, it's also what you want others to see and how you feel and what your mind's eye sees. You understand? Yeah.
Because it's like sometimes the camera will capture things not in the way you are seeing them actually.
Exactly.
And mostly I found that out for photographing people, that sometimes you can see stuff that the camera cannot.
Yeah.
And then you have to go on the highlights and the shadows and play a little bit with that. But, I have never seen you photographing people. Where can I see this? Because mostly your posts are about landscapes, at least here on Google+.
No, there's quite a few on Google Plus about people as well. If you go into my galleries, you look at the one called People I've Met, there's well over 100 images in there of actual portraits, street portraits I've taken. Recently, there's been a lot of landscapes in there because that's what I've been doing recently. But if you just simply backtrack on my posts, you will find an awful lot in regards to people I've photographed as well, because it is a passion of mine, something I really love doing.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jen.
And I will give the opportunity to others to speak to you. Thank you.
Yeah, I was going to ask how much you discover in post. You're saying that you end up doing more post processing with the pictures. Sometimes you go out, you have a vision. Other times it's late night, fooling around with pictures. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Later in the morning, you just move this back and forth and whack it crazy and.
Yeah. Sometimes it's. I think when you take it, certainly when I'm taking street portraits, I'm aware of exactly what I'm taking, because that is a specific thing that I'm looking for. It's the character of the face. Landscapes sometimes, and certainly urban scapes as well. You're not always aware of what you're capturing within that image. I put a post up the other day in regards to how we did a very tight crop on a shot in Liverpool about two cyclists. And the post was actually talking about what you can see when you decide to actually post-edit it and then take it smaller. The details then suddenly start to pop out and you start to see things that you can't see on a full-size image. And I said people shouldn't be afraid of doing tight crops. And I think it went down well. Landscapes, there's so much you just don't see sometimes when you actually look into the viewfinder. You know what I mean? When you're actually taking that original picture. And sometimes it's only sometimes you'll be doing something in post-editing and you'll go, oh, I didn't see that. And so you'll make it a focal point or you'll pop it out or something like that. But it's having the concept to begin with, I think, the biggest thing. Certainly with landscapes.
And how long do you spend conceptualizing, or do you walk around and have an aha, and then does it come quick? Does it slow? Does it vary a lot?
It varies a lot. The leaf series is probably the hardest one to do because I've got a leaf. What am I going to do with it? You know what I mean? Where am I going to take it, and how am I going to use it? So that can be hard work sometimes. And there's certain times where you want it in a certain scenario and you can't have. I wanted snow. But God knows how long. We had no snow. Yeah, 2 years before, it snowed continually. The worst winters ever. This year, we had a day of snow, and I was off.
We had some yesterday, so you're welcome to come over.
Oh, no.
Still there a little bit.
But it was a case of actually getting out in the car and liking it to a field where I knew there was a tree, and I knew I could put this there, and I knew I could do this, that, and just set the shot up. So, but otherwise, sometimes, certainly urban shots, walking around with a leaf, just looking for places I can lay it down and I can do this and that and that with it. So the landscapes and certainly the leaf series I tend to be more conceptualised. Street portraits, it's what you get, you know what I mean? I tend to be very quiet when I do a street portrait. I'll stand there with a camera down at my side and just watch the world go by, waiting for that one face, that one character that might come past. And then I can really chase them down the road.